Hi, everyone. I hope that you are being safe and healthy. I know that this is a hard time for everybody, so I'm going to try to keep putting videos up to help you with your schoolwork. So I've just put up a video on how to do a business letter, which is the second video in the letter writing series. So if you want to check those out, go and find those on my channel. But this is going to be the first video um, in a series on fractions. Okay, so I'm going to start with the things you might need. Okay, and I've got notes over here, so when I look over here, that's what I'm doing. I'm looking at notes. I don't want to forget anything. There are a couple of things that you might need. Sorry about that. I had to find this notebook. Okay, so there's a couple of things, and I know fractions, a lot of people go, oh, fractions. But I can promise you, if you will do just a couple of things for me, you will wonder why you thought fractions were so hard, okay? So I want you to do 4 things for me. The first one is just to pay attention. And I know your teachers in your classrooms tell you this all the time because it's true, you have to pay attention, okay? The second thing is I want you to keep your mind open, okay? Because a lot of times you'll just shut down and you don't want to learn, sometimes it seems like, because you think it's going to be too hard. Well, this is not too hard, I promise you. You can learn this, and if you'll do these 4 things, you'll be able to get through this fraction stuff, okay? The third thing is you're going to have to take some notes, okay? Now, I would recommend a notebook like this. Now, this is the back because I forgot I had put a front. I put something on the front. So this, you know what kind of notebook this is. It's kind of floppy. And the reason I like these is they're easy to carry around. And you're going to be, you might can even use this when you go back to school. So we're going to take notes. We're going to do some vocabulary. So this is, to me, is a really good notebook to get. So a notebook, paper and pencil, and the 4th thing I need you to do, I forgot, my 4th thing is you will need to do some practice problems. So I don't know if you're doing school online or if you're just doing worksheets at home, whatever it is, you will have to do some practice problems because practice makes perfect, and that is so true. It really, really is, especially in something like this. So I'm going to put this notebook down, find my thing. Okay, now, like I said, paper and pencil. So if you need to get that, pause the video, go and get paper and pencil or a notebook or something like that. Now, you can use a 3-ring binder. You know, that'll work too. I just like those because they're so easy to carry around. And when you do start back to school, you can take this to school to help you in your classroom too. Okay, so another thing you might need is a highlighter, because when we do start doing rules, and we will do 1 rule today, you can highlight those rules so that you can find the rules when you need them, okay? So you might need a highlighter too. Now, today's lesson is going to be pretty short and sweet, okay? I'm just going to be introducing the fractions, can't talk, and just a few vocabulary words today. So it's not going to be a really long lesson today. So what is a fraction? Let me see if I can prop this back up so I can see it. So what is a fraction? Our first vocabulary today is going to be what a fraction is. Okay, so what is a fraction? A fraction, now let me make sure I have my notes. A fraction, now this is the big definition, is a numerical representation of part of a whole. Okay, now that's a big kind of way of saying it is a number that shows us a part of a whole. Okay, so we're going to write that. We're going to write the real one, the big one. Okay, okay, a fraction is a numerical representation of part of a whole. Okay, so that is our first vocabulary. So I would suggest writing your vocabulary in the very back of the book, because if you do your vocabulary all mixed in with the other notes, it's hard to find the vocabulary. So if you put it in the back, then you'll have all of your vocabulary together and you'll have all your notes in the front. So that's my suggestion. Okay, so a fraction, most of you know, a fraction looks like this, correct? That's what a fraction looks like. It's a number with a line with a number on the bottom. Now, what do these two numbers tell us? That's the big question when you're first learning fractions. So the bottom number tells us how many pieces the whole thing is cut into, okay? So if you have a pizza, okay, if you have a pizza and your pizza is cut into 4 pieces, now, when you're talking of fractions, they have to be equal pieces, and nobody, and that's pretty close, but you know, especially when you're cutting up a pizza, those people don't cut them very evenly, do they? But when you're talking about fractions, it is equal, each piece is equal, okay? So they have to be equal. So the bottom number of your fraction tells how many pieces the whole pizza is cut into. So we have 4 pieces, so our bottom number is 4, okay? That's all that is. That's all the bottom number is how many pieces it's cut into, okay? Now, if you ate one piece of the pizza, these markers don't like to color in very well, but if you ate one piece, that's what the top is. The top number tells us how many of those pieces was either eaten, taken away, given away, something. But for our pizza demonstration, it's how many pieces you ate. So you ate one piece, so that means our top number is 1. So that means you ate 1/4, because that's what this fraction is called, 1/4 of the whole pizza. That's what that means. Now, you can also do, we can also do a fraction of how many pieces are left, okay? So it's still, our bottom number is still 4, because it's still cut into 4 pieces. But how many pieces are left? 1, 2, 3. So there are 3/4 of the pizza left. So it depends. When you're reading a problem, make sure you read it carefully, because if it asks how many pieces were eaten, that would be 1/4. But if it said how many pieces were not eaten, or how many pieces were left, then it would be 3/4. Okay? Let me make sure. Okay. Now, what if I'm going to erase these fractions. What if instead of just eating one piece, you ate 2 pieces of this pizza? Okay, 2 pieces. Our bottom number is still 4, but this time our top number is 2. I need to move this over so I can show you something. 2. So you have eaten 2/4 of the pizza. But now if you look at this, how much of that pizza did you eat? You ate half of the pizza, didn't you? You ate half of it. So these two fractions are called equivalent fractions. Now we're not going to write that down today. That's actually going to be in lesson number 2, but I just wanted to show you that if you eat 2 pieces of a pizza that's cut into 4 pieces, then you have eaten 2/4 or a half of that pizza. But like I said, we'll talk about equivalent fractions and how to reduce fractions in lesson 2. So let's try another one, okay? Another example. I'm going to put my thing to erase things. Okay, so this time we're going to have a giant candy bar. So this is a giant candy bar, okay? And your dad cut the candy bar in 5 pieces. Now, I'm going to try to do them equal. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, let's move this one over a little bit. 5. Does that look about equal? Kind of looks equal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so your dad cut the candy bar into 5 pieces. So that means our bottom number is 5, right? Our bottom number is 5 because our bottom number is always how many pieces, whatever it is, has been cut into, how many pieces somebody borrowed, how many birds flew away. It can be all kinds of stuff. But this time we have a candy bar and your dad cut it into 5 pieces. Okay? So let's say that you ate 2 of those. You ate 2 of those pieces of the candy bar. So that means your top number is 2. Okay? So that means you ate 2/5 of this candy bar. Okay? Now's a good time for me to tell you that I have a website, and if you have any questions at all, you can go to my website, and it's studieswithmisscolette.home.blog. Now, I'm going to put that in the description, and if you have any questions, go to the blog and leave me a comment, and I will either try to answer the question there, or I'll try to set up a time that we can FaceTime together and I can answer your questions, okay? So I just thought that would be a good time to put that in there. So I'm going to give you a couple of more vocabulary. So let me erase this. Okay, now when we are talking about fractions, there are different kinds of fractions. Today, what we're talking about is a common fraction. Okay, a common fraction, what this means is the top number is smaller than the bottom. Okay, getting way over there. So a common fraction means the top number is smaller than the bottom number, and I forgot about the next part. And it cannot be reduced. Okay, like I said, we'll talk about reducing fractions in lesson 2, and in lessons to come, we'll talk about the other types of fractions, okay? Now, our next vocabulary is, okay, so this is common fraction. So our top number is called the numerator. That's the top number of a fraction. And I'm sorry, I'm not writing very well, am I? Not very straight either. Okay, so the top number is called the numerator, and the bottom number is called the denominator. I'm hoping I'm spelling that right. Yes, and that's the bottom number. Okay. Okay, then I think that's going to be all of our vocabulary for today. Okay. This is all of our vocabulary. So I'm going to give you just a minute to be able to write this down, to make sure you got it all written down, because I do have one more thing I want to teach you. Now, if you need to, pause it right now so that you can finish writing, because I'm going to go ahead and erase. So pause it right now. Okay, the next thing, and this is the last thing we're going to do today, is I want you to think about if we have our pizza that's cut into 4 pieces. I think I did better. I think I did better on my equal things on the other one. Now, what if you ate the entire pizza? You ate it all. Ate the whole thing. Okay? Our bottom number is still 4, right? Because it's still cut into 4 pieces. But you ate all 4. Okay? So our top number is 4. Okay? But you ate the whole thing, right? You ate the whole pizza. So anytime that you see a fraction that the top and the bottom numbers are the same, it is equal to 1. And that is no matter what the number is. So this is rule number 1. Rule number 1. And remember, put the rules in the back. In the front, sorry. Vocabulary in the back, rules in the front. So this goes in the front. So if I might have to stand up for this. Sorry. Can y'all still see? Yeah. If the numerator and the denominator are the same number, the fraction is equal to 1. Okay, I'm going to sit back down. Okay, so your rule is if the numerator and the denominator are the same number, then your fraction is equal to 1. Like I said, it doesn't matter what the numbers are. It can be 12 over 12. It can be 75 over 75. It can be 921 over 921. All of those are still equal to 1. Okay? So that is our first rule. Well, that's the first lesson on fractions. I'll be adding videos in this series and in the other series. So remember to check out the blog if you have any questions. And on the blog, I'll also put some resources to worksheets. So I'll see you next time.